Dear financial crime fighters, we all know that no function in an organization can exist in isolation without support and contribution from the senior management. So is the case with the AML program. All the AML compliance officers of the regulated entities, financial institutions, DNFBPs, and virtual asset service providers, VASPs, are required to design and implement AML policies and procedures to ensure compliance with all the mandatory requirements. One such compliance obligation includes furnishing a periodic AML CFT report to the senior management, updating them on the status of the AML CFT measures implemented in the organization, to ensure that senior management is involved and contributes to the organization's AML program. The video here explores the key elements that must be included in the periodic AML CFT Compliance Officers report. Let's see the elements one by one. This periodic report must include a snapshot of the amendments in the AML regulations introduced during the period. This must also include reference around how these changes affect regulated organizations' business operations. This includes covering the information about the changes made to the existing AML policies and procedures to accommodate these regulatory updates. The compliance officer must include a summary of the key statistics and details pertaining to the customer due diligence process followed during the period, covering number of customers onboarded and their risk profiles, the list of PEP customers onboarded, the details of customers from high-risk countries, list of potential customers rejected from being onboarded, the existing customers with whom the business relationship was terminated, and the reason thereof. Another element to be included in the AML CFT Compliance Officers report is the transactions-related critical information. From an AML perspective, numbers and figures related to the transactions with customers must be included, such as volume and value of transactions with high-risk countries, transactions with settlement in cash or virtual assets, because the risk involved in such transactions is higher than usual. Transactions that have been flagged as suspicious from a money laundering or terrorism financing risk perspective. Though not involved in the decision-making process related to filing a suspicious transaction report or suspicious activity report with FIU, senior management must be updated around the reporting done on the goAML portal. AML Compliance Officer report must include a summary of SAR and STRs filed with the authorities, including a brief about the nature of red flags observed. This information must also cover information about the internal SAR and STRs raised, the outcome of the investigation conducted by the compliance officer, and the final decision related to reporting to FIU. Further, the report must also include essential information about other reports filed in the context of AML compliance, such as dealers in precious metals and stones, partial name match report, fund freeze report, high-risk country reports, and real estate activity report, as the case may be. Another vital element is the AML training log. Senior management must be aware of the organization's AML training program, covering information about the training sessions conducted during the period, participant list, topics covered, trainer, and other relevant details necessary for the senior management to understand the training status. It is essential to mention the loopholes identified in the AML measures carried out during the period. The officer must include a brief description of the AML weaknesses observed during the period that may pose a risk of AML non-compliance or exposure by financial criminals. These must be accompanied by the corrective actions taken by the compliance officer to rectify these gaps and reduce or mitigate the impact. The current AML compliance status of the entity is also a vital ingredient of the AML Compliance Officers report. It is necessary to mention how far the entity has been successful in achieving AML compliance. This section must summarize the compliance status, commenting on whether it is satisfactory or still needs improvement. The compliance officer must also include information on whether any additional AML resources are required to enhance the effectiveness of the AML programs. This may relate to tools and technologies needed, or human resources to strengthen the AML compliance team, or requirements related to a third-party professional training course on AML. The compliance officer must seek the senior management's feedback and inputs on this periodic AML CFT report, and it must be made readily available to the supervisory authorities when requested. Thus, with all these elements in the report, the compliance officer can provide a comprehensive summary of the AML CFT efforts followed by the organization, and bring the senior management on board the AML program, ensuring adequate oversight. Trust this video helps prepare the compliance officer's AML report and stay AML compliant. Stay tuned for more informative ideas to foster your AML program and fight financial crime.